If you have ever looked up at a commercial airliner flying overhead at high altitude, you might notice a white trail stretching across the sky, known as a contrail. While these trails are commonly understood to be harmless condensation, they have ignited a theory that groups or organizations are adding chemicals to be released via aircraft contrails into the air, which have been dubbed chemtrails. Some speculate these chemicals could be used for various purposes to affect the population below, but the most plausible theory surrounding chemtrails is for controlling the weather. So let's first start by covering what is a contrail. A contrail, short for condensation trail, is a visible streak in the sky, formed by the condensation of water vapor from aircraft engines. When commercial airlines fly at a high altitude, the hot, humid air from the engines mixes with the cold, low-pressure air at high altitudes, causing the water vapor to condense into tiny ice crystals, similar to how you can see the exhaust coming out of a car on a cold morning. These ice crystals form a visible white trail that can appear as a line or series of lines across the sky and can last from a few minutes to several hours depending on atmospheric conditions, which is often mistaken by believers of the chemtrail theory as evidence of something more sinister.
If you look up here, you can see all these clouds. These are jet contrails, okay? In fact, if you look way over there, you can see there's a jet making that one. These are all contrails from jets coming out of LA. You can see that line going across there. It goes that way, and there's a line going across that way. These are contrails too. They've made this giant cirrus cloud. So these jets have made this big cloud right here that stretches from that horizon, from LA, as far as you can see that way, going east, like toward New York and the rest of the cities out there. So yeah, those are chemtrails, but they're the chemicals coming out of the exhaust on the jet, which is probably mostly vapor, but there's some other things mixed in.
I can understand why some might believe in the theory of chemtrails being used for weather control, given that weather modification through aerial spraying, known as cloud seeding, is a well-documented practice. For those who are not familiar, cloud seeding is a weather modification technique used to increase precipitation, typically in the form of rain or snow, by dispersing substances into clouds. These substances act as nuclei, helping moisture in the clouds condense into water droplets or ice crystals that fall as precipitation. Since its introduction in 1946, cloud seeding has been used in drought-prone areas or regions with limited water supplies to boost rainfall, replenish reservoirs, support agriculture, and ensure water availability for communities. Cloud seeding is usually done through various methods such as ground-based generators, rockets, and more commonly through aerial dispersal. Planes equipped with flares or dispersal devices release seeding agents directly into the target clouds. The aircraft flies through or above the clouds, dispersing substances such as silver iodide, sodium chloride, or dry ice. This is the most common and effective method, allowing precise targeting of specific cloud formations. So why do people think that groups or organizations are using airplanes to disperse chemicals into the air through their contrails? Maybe it's because of repeated instances of secretive programs, cover-ups, and denials over the years have contributed to a general mistrust of official explanations. This skepticism can lead to beliefs in activities like chemtrails. Plus, some people observe long-lasting contrails and question their origin. This can fuel speculation that these trails are evidence of chemical spraying rather than natural contrail formation. An average contrail usually lasts from a few minutes to about 30 minutes. However, under certain conditions, they can persist for several hours or even longer and can slowly spread out into cloud-like formations called contrail cirrus. Plus, colder temperatures at high altitudes help contrails last longer because the ice crystals don't evaporate quickly. Wind patterns also play a role. Strong winds can disperse contrails quickly, while calm winds allow them to linger and spread. Since commercial airlines typically fly at altitudes up to 45,000 feet, where it's colder and less airflow, the contrails are more likely to persist for much longer, fueling beliefs that it's not just condensation. The chemtrail theory originated in the 1990s and has since been widely debunked by scientists, meteorologists, and aviation experts. The scientific community has extensively studied contrails and their effects. Any claim that these trails contain harmful chemicals deliberately released into the atmosphere lacks credible evidence. Studies have shown that contrails can affect climate by contributing to cloud formation, but this is a well-understood natural consequence of aviation rather than a deliberate act. Even though there are many competing theories about contrails, I am not willing to cover all of them, as there would be no way to prove one way or the other if they are valid. But since weather control was one of the most popular theories, I felt that would be the easiest to explain. In conclusion, contrails are a natural result of aircraft flying at high altitudes, and while they do have some environmental impacts, they are not part of any secret program to spread chemicals into the atmosphere. A lack of understanding about how contrails form and dissipate can lead to misconceptions and fears that they are linked to harmful activities. And while it's easy to see how these misconceptions arise, it's important to approach them with critical thinking and a strong foundation in science.